okay.
Building an alliance.
Will you join us?
Welcome. It's party time!
So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong! It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party.
It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
Here's the story now. If I see Kevin Owens,
Welcome.
or even someone who looks like Kevin Owens, I drop them on sight.
Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth. Is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah.
What is up? It's your awesome pal, J. Cal. We're streaming live, baby. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. We're on the moon, daddy. Welcome, everybody. This is the pre-party with J. Cal, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. And every Tuesday, I come to you, my hashtag NWA fam, to talk about all things pro wrestling. So what's up, chat? How's everyone doing today? Excited to be here. And we're doing this whole thing live for you guys to talk wrestling. Now, the people on TikTok still think I look like Kevin Owens, and that's okay, but we're here to talk about NWA. Obviously, the big news is that, well, Roku, the first week on Roku, it's happened. And I got to be honest, man, I know there's more matches this week. I haven't seen any of the match announcements. I don't know what's going to happen next for the NWA, but we're excited that something good's going to happen. They have announced a couple of matches for the 77th anniversary show. Now, the NWA is in a bit of a tape delay, right? Like they're a little behind what's going on Roku, right? So Roku Sports just dropped the first episode of Power on Roku, which came from the Crockett Cup, came from the 2025 Crockett Cup, and that was filmed back in May, the end of May, almost early June. It is May. At the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, and at the Crockett Cup, they obviously crowned a new Crockett Cup champion. They had the tag team tournament. If you guys aren't familiar, also they had crowned a new world television champion. We saw that last week. Brian Idol winning the title, defeating Carson Bartholomew Drake. Ooh. So they've been growing out the brand in terms of on Roku and having the Wrestling Central along with Roku Sports showcasing NWA matches. The first week it was Power started last week. Being on Wrestling Central, they've been on like a 24-hour on-demand channel that works with Women of Wrestling as well. And they've had a lot of action there for Roku. So it is starting to grow. We're starting to see the NWA in a different Rick Del Santo on TikTok said those braids. Ugh. I don't have enough bad things to say about Brian Idol as a wrestler, but as a promoter, he does a pretty good job. Hey, I got something cool. Can I show you guys? When I send out T-shirts now, we have an extra little gifty. Look at this. Yeah. You can put these all over your school, your brewmate. No, what are the kids drinking now? They're Stanleys. Are you guys still using Stanleys? It comes with a Kevin Owens figure. No, but it comes with an Alliance Blog sticker. And you can put them anywhere because they stick. Stickers. Rick, I'll make sure I send one out to you very, very soon. But yeah, that's kind of cool, right? But getting back to this whole NWA situation, again, they are in a delay, right? I don't want to say delay. That's not the right word. They are in a cycle where their production takes a little bit to get from television to TV. So right now, I said television to TV, from tape to TV, and the TV being Roku Sports. So these matches that we're watching this week on Power, again, were all filmed back in late May of 2025. They've already filmed TV in Tampa that will lead us to the 77th anniversary show, but they have announced a few matches for 77. The most recent one is Tiffany Nieves will be defending the NWA Women's World Television Championship against Serena Vale. I don't know a whole lot about Serena. I don't know a whole lot about Serena Vale, and I'm sure I'll do a deep dive before we get to the 77th anniversary show, but she has been announced as the challenge for the women's television title. Not to be outdone, Brian Idol will also be defending his NWA television title against Joe Ocasio, who we've seen Joe Ocasio pop up in the NWA quite a bit over the last few years. This will be, I believe, the first time he's getting an opportunity to wrestle for the TV title. I could be wrong about that, but he is a New York native. They will be in New York. So those matches go along with the announced match of Alexander Hammerstone taking on third-generation superstar Kerry Morton, the son of Ricky Morton. That matchup will be taking place. Alex Taylor will be defending the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship against Rich Swann. Rich Swann recently made his return to TNA Wrestling, so I don't know how much that's going to impact the outcome of this match. If Rich Swann is working full-time again for TNA Wrestling, I don't imagine he will be in the NWA for very long, if at all, if this match happens at all. So it'll be interesting how that all plays out, of course. And then we have the World Tag Team Championship match. Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch will defend their NWA World Tag Team titles against a team of Pretty Boy Smooth and EC3. How did those guys get a shot at the titles? I guess you're going to have to watch the Crockett Cup and find out. Sorry, I have to go check out some of the comments here in the back here on YouTube. And I'm going to put those comments up here on the screen so you guys can read them. First and foremost, we got to go to our guy, Willie Bowen. Willie Bowen makes his tires joke every week here on the pre-party. And without any hesitation, Willie Bowen says, "Hey, J. Cow, Rolando Freeman is so dumb. He says that a yeast infection is caused by eating too much bread." Really, that's not funny, but it's funny. It's stupid, but it made me laugh. Jeremy says, "Don't forget to like, share, and after the stream, leave a comment. It helps with the Al Gore rhythm." And it does. That guy starts dancing. Noob. I'm doing well, Noob. We've been streaming. We've been on. I've been on. It's just me, the royal we. I've been on TikTok for about the last hour. Now we're on hour number 2, and Sean Mega says, "No, I'm on TikTok, dog. I'm not on your YouTube channel." Willie Bowen's in the chat. Jeremy says stickers. Yeah, man. The wife went and found a place to make stickers, so we have Alliance Blog stickers. And they'll be coming out soon to you. Noob. Brian Idol's not a draw, but J-Cow, is Natalia Markova a draw to you? Yeah. I feel like Markova has proven herself time in and time out. Soto, I will work on that for you. Or you can message Sweet Vanilla. She'll let you know. Yeah, Markova's a draw. She's proved her worth. I mean, I go back to the 73rd anniversary show against her and Camille, and I'll be honest, I thought Markova was going to win the title that night. It was like the hardcore match where they literally used a computer keyboard. And I believe, I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but Sam and our boy Tim collected the keyboard pieces after Camille smashed Markova over the head with it. Look, Markova has put in the work. Markova has a great look. She can wrestle. Her promos are okay, right? Like, I don't feel like she's the best promo person in the business, but what she does do is she just kills it out there. She just kills it when she's out there. She's definitely puts in the work. And it's hard to say that she isn't a draw. I don't feel like the NWA has given her an opportunity to be a genuine draw, but I feel like the time's getting close. I feel like the time is getting close that we're going to see. I think Markova wins the title at 77. I mean, this isn't the prediction show, but I feel like this is it. This is the time. And so in the chat on YouTube, or excuse me, on TikTok, King Sean Mega says, what are the matches for tonight? Well, that's the thing. Like, they have, as far as I can see, I haven't seen any official match listings. But what I think we're going to see, based off of photographic memory that J-Cal has, I think we're going to see Daisy Kill and Talos take on the team of Frank and Zion. I think we're going to see the team of the Southern Gentlemen taking on Mike Mondo and Spencer Slade. And I think we'll also get the women's matchup between Markova and Kylie Page. I think that's what it is. But I'm not entirely sure. Castle R. Daniel Garcia, glad to see the TV title back. Go Idol. Well, I mean, they've had the TV title back for a while, Daniel. I mean, we saw it on, it's been a pretty well-versed championship in the NWA. It was on Carson Drake for most of 2025. Before Carson Drake, it was on the former champion Max the Impaler. Max won the title by beating Mims, who won it in a tournament by defeating Zicky Dice. And that's just the modern history. Of course, before that, the TV title was released, I believe, by Silas Mason. That's going off of memory. I could be wrong. Noob says, you want Hammerstone to unalive Ricky Morton? No, I want Ricky Morton to be placed in a bubble with shrink wrap and protective covering so that he'll be around for generations to come. Jammin' Man says he's got an unboxing video of the NWA. Yeah, make sure you send me a notification or something. I don't see everything that happens that gets posted. Send me a link and we'll share it on the Alliance YouTube page. In your opinion, can you name some younger NWA talent who could be heavyweight champions in the future? 100%, Wiccan. I think the first name I'm going to throw out there, everyone in the chat is quite familiar with, and that would be Silas Mason. The Thrillbilly, if you will. Silas Mason has really made a name for himself within the NWA, having held the national championship and I believe also the television championship. He is a great promo. He's a solid worker. Not is he just a big dude, but he can work and he can shoot if he needs to. Over on TikTok, Sean Mega says Slade, Dante Casanova, and Mims. You got me with Slade. I think Slade has so much underutilized potential that it kind of makes me sad. It makes me sad that they don't use him to a greater length. Dante Casanova, they haven't given him any real time on TV, so I'm not going to hold my breath for that. But Mims, Mims is a homemade talent. If Mims wins that title, he'll be the first guy who is strictly an NWA guy to kind of grow with the company to win it. And I wouldn't hate that. I did hear about Colby's emergency surgery. I don't know what happened. I don't have a link handy, but I know if you guys go on the NWA's social media accounts, he does have a GoFundMe out there. But again, I don't know what happened. I really don't. And it's terrible because, when wrestling is your livelihood, when wrestling is all that you have, I don't know, man. It's kind of scary. And to think that can be taken away from him. So I was right. It was Page versus Markova tonight. It's going to be the Immortals versus the Slime Balls. I thought that wasn't the match. Okay, well, that's what it sounds like. And then you've got Daisy Kill and Talos versus... Wait, what? Oh, these some of these matches are not from the Crockett Cup, it looks like. What am I seeing here? I don't know what I'm watching right now. What? I don't know. It looks like I've seen Dante Casanova in an NWA ring, but I don't know. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the distraction. I thought I had a lead on which matches were happening tonight, and I don't know what that was that I was watching. But let's get back to the chat because that's where it's at. As far as world champions go, I think Silas Mason is probably number one on my ticket. I think you could make a case for, unfortunately he's hurt, but Colby Carino got really close to reaching that prize. Kerry Morton's a guy who I think it just depends on how long he stays with the NWA. If he doesn't get picked up somewhere else, he could potentially become a world champion. Malcolm, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the chat today. And Finn does WWE. What's up, Finn? Finn, this is our NWA show, so won't be talking too much about Lesnar, but I wasn't real thrilled with that situation. I'm not a big... I don't think that was a good move, a smart move. Finn says, my real goal in life is to become the first English WWE champion. The closest thing to that is Drew McIntyre from Scotland. That's a good point because, British Bulldog only held the Intercontinental Championship. And Sheamus is, I believe he's Irish, right? And Finn Balor is also Irish. And Drew McIntyre Scottish. So, yeah, I guess you're right. Hey, Ben, what's going on? Spencer Slade should be this generation's Kurt Angle and Josh Alexander as evidence of Slade wearing the headgear. Well, let's not forget about Mr. Rick Steiner. When he comes out at the Crockett Cup, he's wearing gear very reminiscent to the Steiner brothers. But I feel like Spencer Slade is, again, so underutilized. And, they're putting him into a tag team with Mike Mondo. We see that at the Crockett Cup. Like I said, there's some matches that I see that might be happening this week on Power, but maybe were filmed out of sequence because they weren't from the 2300 arena. That's for sure. What is up? I think that's K flipped. What's going on? So it's kind of hard to tell what the NWA is planning on doing because, like I said, the video link that says the teaser for this week's Power, those matches, those weren't filmed at Power, so it's really confusing here. And I wish I had a better answer for you. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. And they haven't really posted anything on X about what the match lineups are, except for we know that we get Kylie, Paige, and Markova for tonight. I mean, let me look somewhere else. Can we see Carlito with his cousins in the NWA? No, I don't think Carlito will be showing up to the NWA Soto, unfortunately. As much as I like Carlito, that guy seems to be very occupied working some dates for the Indies. Of course, Soto, I know you say that in jest because you and I on September 5th, we will be in Tijuana watching that man chewing an apple and spitting at somebody, probably somebody who isn't cool. Mike Manning, that's a name from the past. I haven't seen you around in a while. Michael, hope all is well. Wolverhampton, England, and that's also where William Regal's from. That's interesting, Finn. So Michael, I'm glad you asked. No, you don't. You could watch Roku on your phone if you download the Roku app, or you could watch it on your PC. You just need to go to the Roku channel and go to Roku Sports. The show airs at 8 p.m. Pacific. No, excuse me, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Roku Sports. It's also probably available on demand. Last week they put it on demand a lot earlier. And yeah, well, and that's the thing. So for those who live in the UK, the show is only available to the North American audience. I don't know how they block it or something, but I don't feel like you're going to see very much. You're not going to be able to watch Power, at least, from the app without using like a VPN or something like that. And I know a lot of people have had frustrations with that. Our friend Fiona, who lives in Scotland, was unable to find the show last week, but eventually found it using a VPN. Isn't Carlito in GCW? Ben, that's a great question. I don't really know. I don't know where like Carlito's not signed to anybody. He's a free agent and he's a freelancer. He'll work wherever he gets booked. Like the majority of independent wrestlers are. I know that he'll, do his dad shows, his family shows in Puerto Rico, but I think after that everything is fair game. Soto, the terrible problem about okay, Scooby, that's what I thought, but I just saw like that's what I called. That's what I said earlier because I was going through the photos from the 2300 arena, but there was some video posted by the NWA that I tried to watch real quick, and it was showing like Dante Casanova, and it was showing some other like slime balls and just weird. Michael, what's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out because you love Kevin Owens. Thanks, Michael. Oh, geez. You got that unique charisma that just screams prize fighter. Oh, my God. Getting killed over here. What's up, Retro? Retro, please tell them I'm not Kevin Owens. You've met me in person. I wasn't wearing a tank top, but I assure you, there's no dinosaur tattoos on my shoulders. I promise. There's no Brahma Bull. Slade, Mondo, Country Gents, Kylie versus Markova, and Kill Talus versus Frank Zion. Okay. So, yeah, and again, if you have the availability to check out Roku, you can actually watch it now because I guess they're releasing the on-demand episodes a little bit earlier. I get it, Michael. It's not that I'm ignoring the TikTok comments. It's that the show, the live stream is where I'm at right now. Just trying to be in multiple places at once. Ash Perez says, hey, Jay, today Life is Fighting is available, aka the memoir of Karrion Kross. Ash, where can someone watch that at? Is that a downloadable content or where's that available at? Ash, if you're still in the chat, please put a link or something. Thank you, Retro. Oh, it's a book. Okay. That makes sense. It's a memoir. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Let's get back to some of the other comments. I don't like to ignore anybody, but it's listed on Instagram, but not on X yet. Well, that's my problem. I went to X. X is where they used to post everything. You're going to see Mysterio this weekend. Yeah, El Hijo de Rey Mysterio, not to be confused with Dominic Mysterio. A VPN didn't help me before, but I wonder if it'll help me watch Roku in the UK. Michael, I can't tell you anything for certain, but I was told that with a VPN you can get there. And I know that's it's such a pain in the ass. I don't know why the NWA continues to use platforms that aren't available internationally. But again, I kind of had this conversation. We all have to remember that Billy Corgan, although independently wealthy, is not Tony Khan, right? And so every time he produces a wrestling event, I've heard the numbers upwards of $100,000 to have a production truck, the venue, the ring, to pay talent, for catering, for the cameramen, for everything. And if you think about it, $100,000 when it comes to producing pro wrestling doesn't sound like a whole lot. But think of it this way. If you were a $1 millionaire, you had $1 million, you could run 6 shows, and then that's it. You're done. You're not done, but you got $400,000 left. And that's a lot of money. Billy Corgan is a millionaire. He's a multimillionaire, but how much money is he spending on the NWA to run these events? And let's just put it out there. $100,000 a show. What is his return on investment for that? Do you think the gate at Crockett Cup was anywhere near $100,000? Let's say he made $20,000. He's still losing $80,000 to put on that show, and what he was making on X or YouTube is negligible. Like what? I make about $15 a month on YouTube on a good month. Let's multiply that by 100. Let's multiply it by 1,000. If he got 1,000 times what I make on YouTube, it might make its money back. Where can I sign to run a show? Yeah, well, Tony's a billionaire. Imagine what the NWA could do with that money. Exactly, Ben. If Tony had invested in the NWA, and that's the thing, Billy never wanted anyone to invest in the NWA because he always wanted it to be his voice. He did not want to adhere to what somebody else wanted him to do. That's why when you look at the NWA and where it's at and where it could be, a lot of that is because Billy didn't want to give up control. It's his company. It's his baby. It'd be like me saying, okay, Soto's going to take over the Alliance blog. Soto does great numbers on TikTok. He does great numbers on YouTube. Soto's not running the Alliance blog, and I'm just here to do whatever he tells me to do. This is my baby. I've nurtured the Alliance blog for almost 20 years. So no, I mean, I don't think that anyone, I don't think Billy's going to give that up to anybody else to make those decisions for him. But I feel like it would be a smart business decision if he can find media outlets that would be more welcoming to an international audience. YouTube was easy because anyone could watch it. The problem is that the return on investment wasn't very high. It would make sense for Billy to find something like beIN Sports or a streaming platform that is big in Europe or the UK or Australia, or a population that is English speaking that is large, because there would be you wouldn't even need to translate the content. You wouldn't need to have alternate announcers. You would just need to produce content that would be available to them. So Ben asked, do you know how long Kenzie Page has been NWA Women's World Champion? I don't know how long Kenzie has been World Champion. I mean, I guess we're coming up on a year. No, 2 years. Kenzie won it at the 75th anniversary show. Let me see. I will tell you exactly how long she's had the title for, if you'll bear with me. Kenzie Page has been NWA Women's Champion for 709 days. She won the title back on August 27th, 2023. So she's almost at 2 years as champion. And now the next big title defense will be on the 16th of this month against Markova. And that could all change. We'll just have to wait and see. By the way, Ben, Great photo of Dominic Mysterio as your profile photo. I like that, dude. 1 year and 11 months. That's right. Tony Khan's dad owns the Jaguars. That's where Tony gets his money from. Well, Soto, I mean, we could talk about this offline, but the first thing you need is a ring and a venue. What you need to run a wrestling promotion is money, period. Because nobody works for free. And even the guys who set up the ring, they want something. You find a venue, locate the venue, you get a ring. In Southern California, in San Diego, call Jeff Dino. You can get a ring from Jeff Dino. I'm sure he'd give you a good rate. Tell him you know J Cal from the Alliance blog. Maybe he'll give you a discount. Then you got to find talent. Talent's, in Southern California, there's tons of talent all over the place. So it wouldn't be hard, but to do it more than once would be. And then you got to do it consistently. And but we'll talk later about that, Soto. We can talk about that. Excuse me, guys. I don't know if you heard that. Ben said, imagine if Elon Musk started a wrestling promotion. He's buying out everyone and creating the greatest wrestling company ever. My work yard would be the absolute worst place for a wrestling show. Nobody wants dirt in their ring, on their clothes, in their mouths. It's a terrible idea. Elon Musk, I hope he never does get into pro wrestling because he could be a game changer. Elon Musk, the richest man on earth now. If he's not number one, he's very close to being number one. And, if Elon Musk wanted to get into wrestling, he'd just buy TKO. He'd just write him a check. Impact 88 says, who do you think is going to beat Murdoch's for the tag titles? So who do I think will beat Murdoch's for the titles? I mean, right now, I think it would be I think they're also on borrowed time. And it's not that I don't like Murdoch's. It's not that I don't like, because Trevor Murdoch's awesome. Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox have really come into their own as a great tag team for the NWA. And, Trevor's had that credibility for a long time. He's former WWE World Champion with Lance Cade, tag team champion, excuse me. So for him to come into the NWA for the last few years and holding the top seed in that tag team division, and him and Knox being tag team champions, that doesn't surprise me at all. The question is, who do I think could beat them? I mean, if you seriously look at the division now, I kind of feel like Blunt Force Trauma has run its course. I don't know what's next for them, but I'm not super excited about seeing BFT at this point. You look at the Colognes, they certainly have name value, and they could certainly be a team to upset Murdoch's. You also have the Immortals, which is Kratos and Odinson, and that would be a phenomenal tag team. And they are probably the only tag team within the NWA confines that could go power for power with Murdoch's. And where, that would be a very smash mouth, meaty men slapping meat kind of a match. Kratos and Odinson could match power with Knox and Murdoch. And then I would also say, we've got this matchup for 77, which is, you've got EC3, former world heavyweight champion, former national champion, and PB Smooth, the former Midwest champion, who have competed as a tag team now. They're getting an opportunity to take on Murdoch's. That might be the team to do it too. And I would be surprised. It was a special occasion to watch the Latimer versus Cardona title match at Maple Leaf Pro. Recently, I got a little NWA after a long wait. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. When we talk about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, what they're doing there, they've now booked Tom Latimer 3 times in world heavyweight title matches. Once against the artist formerly known as, and I just forgot his name, Baron Corbin. I know he's going by a different name right now, but he defended against Baron Corbin. He defended against Stu Grayson and also Matt Cardona. I think that's pretty impressive. And any one of those guys, I feel like would be a great addition to the NWA roster. Obviously, Matt Cardona is a former champion. Sometimes I feel like Maple Leaf Pro is booking the NWA World Heavyweight title better than the NWA is. Willie says, hell no to coward Cardona. He's already had too many NWA World Heavyweight Championship opportunities. Willie, I agree. I'm not a big Cardona guy, but the elephant in the room is Cardona puts butts in seats, and people seem to care about him. I wasn't a Cardona fan. I don't think he's all that great, but the NWA gave him an opportunity, and people seem to really enjoy him. Jackson Storm says Carson Drake is the guy. Oh, Carson Drake. What are we talking about here? Soto brings up a great question. Could we see Karrion Kross show up in the NWA? His contract's coming up this weekend. Oh, my God. Can I just tell you right now, Soto? Let me take a sip of water. I need a sip of water. If Billy Corgan, William Patrick Corgan, if the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins could snatch Karrion Kross off that WWE roster, as over as Karrion Kross is right now, I would put the NWA World title on him. I'd put the tag titles on him. I'd put the junior heavyweight title on him, and I'd ship him to the moon. Hell yes, I'll take a Karrion Kross every day of the week and twice on Sundays. The problem is, I don't think he's coming to the NWA. We have to pull back our hopes and dreams here to be realistic. And the NWA runs about 7 TV tapings a year, maybe 8. That's a part-time wrestling promotion. This guy is on the road literally every single Monday, every single Friday, every other weekend. The guy is busy. I don't know, going from the WWE to the NWA would best suit Karrion Kross. Now, it would afford him the opportunity to work more independence. He could work multiple promotions, and that involves MLW, NWA, United Wrestling Network, even promotions like TNA Wrestling. But I don't think that the the NWA has the juice to land a guy like Karrion Kross. And honestly, I'm not entirely convinced that Kross is leaving the WWE. If he did, daddy, I think you're onto something. But I don't know. Baron Corbin is one half of the MLW World Tag Team Champions. Yeah, Bishop Dyer. I think someone in TikTok said it. Bishop Dyer is definitely he's a fun listen. I don't know if you guys ever listen to him on Busted Open Radio, but he is he sounds very intelligent, and I think I like Retro got it. And I think he is more entertaining than I thought he would be on Busted Open. But that guy has a lot of talent as well, and I'm surprised that the NWA didn't at least try. Maybe they did. Soto says, I could see Karrion go to GCW and TNA. Yeah, I mean, TNA makes a lot of sense. I don't see AEW for Karrion Kross just because it's the same. It's more of the same. He's going to get lost in a shuffle. Like that the world title picture in AEW's, it's not huge, right? It's not overwhelming, but there's so much talent in AEW that it's hard to find room for everybody. I mean, they freaking got Okada, Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe, Adam Page, the champion. John Moxley is still around in the title picture. You got Claudio Castagnoli, who could be that guy if they wanted to. You've got Shelton Benjamin on the roster. There's MJF. I mean, there's so many good, talented guys. And I'm not saying Karrion Kross isn't good. I'm saying that he would be fighting an uphill battle to get to the main event picture. Swerve Strickland. I mean, there's so many other names I've left off that are so good that to me, it doesn't make sense. Let's see more from the chat. Karrion and EC3 feud, that would be wicked. I agree. Willie Bowen says, Chris Adonis or Jeremiah Plunkett is my choice for future NWA World Heavyweight Champion. We haven't seen Adonis in an NWA ring in quite some time, but never say never. And I don't know, man. I hate the way that they booked Jeremiah Plunkett. Friend of the show, I wish he was more prominently featured on Power. I wish he was the guy going to the territories and really wrangling up potential challengers and potential call-ups for the NWA. Retro says, Karrion and Billy have a relationship from the past. Billy's relationship with Natty Neidhart is what got Natty Neidhart in the NWA for one match. I'm not saying it's a done deal, because I think it's far from it, but they haven't announced a main event yet for Crockett Cup. Excuse me. They haven't announced a main event yet for the 77th anniversary show. Why not reach out to Karrion Kross? If he's out of contract and he's willing to work, bring him in for, we've got 11 days. It's not a lot of time to build it up, but if anyone could do it, Kross could. And based on name alone, Karrion Kross is the kind of guy that people would pay money to see. Michael Manning says, I've been enjoying some of the 80s NWA events on the WCW YouTube channel. It's probably the best way to watch it. What makes you drawn to the NWA the most? That's a great question, Soto. I'm glad you asked. Being a fan of the NWA is not an easy job. It's not, because the NWA isn't readily available to people all over the world. The NWA is like essentially a very niche wrestling promotion. It's a niche of a niche of a niche. Sports entertainment, like sports, baseball, football, basketball, volleyball, pro wrestling. It's not on the top of the list. And then you go from that to watching the NWA, which is very niche in that it's a much smaller wrestling promotion. But what it has for it is history and tradition. And if you can get to the fact that this is the same promotion that at one point in time was the end-all be-all when it came to sanctioning pro wrestling in the United States, there were times where the U.S. federal government sued the NWA because of anti-trust laws. And at the time, the NWA used to blackball talent for working in promotions outside of that jurisdiction, outside of the NWA box. And when you think about like this whole thing formed back in 1948, 77 years ago. And that legacy has continued on. It went from Orville Brown, Lou Thez, to like Harley Race, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, to AJ Styles, Raven, Jeff Jarrett, to Adam Pearce, Colt Cabana, Blue Demon Jr., to Rob Conway, Satoshi Kojima, Jack Stane, Tim Storm, to Nick Aldis, to where it is today. And it's kind of hard to not be passionate about that, at least for me. That history, that connection, that historic vibe. The WWE has been around for a long time, but the NWA predates that by like 30 years. And it'll be interesting to see how things continue to play out for the NWA. Obviously, with Roku Sports now in the picture and the Wrestling Central, I mean, that's bringing more money into the NWA for its finished video product than they had received before with being on YouTube and on X. So who knows? Maybe this is the next step for the NWA, and that's what I think a lot of us are hoping for. They did a lot more live events in the last few years, and this year they did a couple of non-televised tapings in the Northeast. They did in Sacramento. They did the Grilled Cheese Festival, and I don't know what's next for the NWA, but I'm very optimistic that things are going to turn out good for them. Brock being back is a waste of time. I agree. Kross to AEW, perhaps. Kross isn't leaving the WWE, but he finances his own content for his YouTube. Good skills to have. Kross isn't going anywhere with Callis. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Kross is leaving the WWE either. But if we're fantasy booking, man, Tom Latimer versus Karrion Kross, that's the kind of matchup that could take the NWA to the next level. And Finn, no, I don't think that Moxley comes back to the WWE. Michael Manning, what? I missed Neidhart? Yeah, unfortunately, you did miss Natty Neidhart. But the good news is Neidhart, her match has not aired yet on Roku Sports. But if you go to a certain YouTube channel, the Alliance blog, I heard you could see the match in its entirety. I would like to see Hammerstone become the NWA champion. That would be a phenomenal get, too. The problem with Hammerstone is I don't think anyone believes he's long-term on the indies. I think a lot of people think, oh, he'll sign AEW, oh, he'll sign WWE. But so far he hasn't. And the fact that he hasn't means a lot of companies are wasting their time. They could have him right now, but it hasn't happened yet. If the WWE NXT talent gets released, allow TNA first rights to sign talent. Working relationships may allow them to keep current names and still be part of the TNA NWA umbrella. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Scoop. I think that like Karrion Kross would make a lot more sense in TNA wrestling than anywhere else that we've mentioned because there's a back door back to the WWE. And look, it was never about Kross not being able to get over. Kross has gotten over on every platform he's been. It's just not. It hasn't connected yet with the WWE. The fans were chanting Kross's name at the post show at SummerSlam, and Triple H tried to play it off as Brock. Well, that wasn't Brock. That was Kross. We'll see what happens. Willie Bowen says Tiffany Nieves, Big Mama, and Natalia Markova is the main reason why I love the NWA. Great reasons, Willie. Are you on Twitter X? You should go check out Tiffany Nieves' profile. Who's your pick for replacing Colby on the card, presumably versus Carson Drake? Well, was there ever a Colby match announced? Not that I'm trying to be cruel or anything, but I don't think he was even announced yet. Sure, Carson Drake makes sense. We haven't had an official match announcement yet for Silas Mason. So Silas Mason versus Carson Drake could be a potential matchup. I wouldn't hate that. Jackson says Hammerstone and Holiday will both be signed very soon. That's what I think too. How do they find success when every match is leaked? That's the problem. They're not finding any success. They're still spinning their wheels. The NWA needs to get to that next level where it's not 6 months before the show airs, and a signature live event should be premiered on wherever it can as soon as it can. Oh my God. Soto, I just got your text. Let's see. Michael Manning, no. As far as I know, no. No. Look, money fixes everything. Someone giving you money fixes everything. I'm pretty sure Tampa Tapings has a Carson versus Colby build. Okay. I'll be honest, I did not look that closely at the results. It also has a build for other matches as well. We don't know. I mean, the Pope is supposed to be on the card. At least the Pope is supposed to be at the 77. Maybe he comes into the ring with Carson Drake. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go with that. Let's see. Perfect. Meet me there. I will not, sir. I'm a happily married spud. Anyways, guys, we're getting close to the end of the show, but we do want to continue to plug that the NWA tonight will be on Roku Sports. You can check it out by going to the Roku Sports app. It premieres at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, or on demand, apparently, if you can find it. Let's see. Noob says, I like watching the NWA. Markova is the reason why I enjoy watching the NWA. I got it. Is it time for Q&A? Soto, it's always time for Q&A. That's what this whole podcast is. It's a Q&A. At least in the NWA, this is from our friend Jackson on TikTok. He says, at least at the NWA, they don't lose their shoes like Roman. Cross is talented performer, but he's this generation's Kevin Sullivan minus the evil Phil. That's an interesting point. Chris Shoemaker on TikTok bringing up but see, the thing is, we don't have an evil Phil of Karrion Kross. We feel like, so for me, honestly, Karrion Kross today kind of reminds me of, and I'm forgetting his name now. Damn it. I'll look it up. Guys. Sean O'Hare. There it is. Karrion Kross kind of reminds me of Sean O'Hare, both in appearance and in wrestling ability and the gimmick he is currently in. Sean O'Hare was a WCW power plant guy. He came into WCW as a tag team. What did they call him? Let's see. He went by the name of it was just Sean O'Hare. They ended up becoming a part of a group, a faction, and I think it was Sean O'Hare was part of the New Blood and later the Natural Born Thrillers. And before they got to the WWE, he was teaming regularly with first it was Mark Jindrak and later it was Chuck Palumbo. And they were such a fun tag team. But then when he got to the WWE as a singles competitor, they were using him in this really weird gimmick where Roddy Piper was his manager. And he would use these weird catchphrases about trying to fool people into doing weird stuff. And he's his catchphrase was something like, "I'm not telling you anything you don't already know." And it was so good. And I feel like he was the guy that was tempting you to do bad. He was the devil on your shoulder telling you to do bad things. And I kind of feel like that's where Karrion Kross is supposed to be, but they haven't quite gotten him there yet. Let's see. I'm sure there's a bunch, but what's one of the biggest things you'd change if you had control of the NWA? I feel like the most important thing the NWA needs to do is get on a more consistent schedule with their taping. They are very sporadic, so it's not like a guarantee. Like, we know every Monday night there's going to be a Monday Night Raw. We know every, Wednesday there's going to be an AEW Dynamite. Every Friday there's a SmackDown, and every Thursday night is going to be a TNA wrestling event. The NWA is not consistent with its booking, with its television taping schedule, and then there's such a delay from when they tape it. They announced Rhino for the Crockett Cup back in March. Crockett Cup happened in late May, almost June. We're talking that's like a 3-month window. But then we got to the Crockett Cup and watched the Crockett Cup live before that match even aired on TV that introduced Rhino to the NWA. So they're not even able to get to that next level. Thank you, Scooby. They're not able to get those matches on before the events are happening. And as you can have it both ways, right? You could be a live touring company and only focus on that. You could be a television company and only focus on that. But if you're going to do both, they need to be married in that what you're producing for live events is in tune with what's being produced on TV. Otherwise, you have a bunch of people coming to your show not really knowing what to expect. When we went to the Crockett Cup, they had not specifically announced that Carson Drake was no longer television champion. When we got to the Crockett Cup, we did not specifically know that TVMA were the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions. It was just very, it was very disconnected. And having watched the Crockett Cup before I saw the end of Hard Times, it just didn't gel. Now, I'm not saying that the Crockett Cup was a bad event. I really enjoyed Crockett Cup, but it took a few minutes to kind of understand what was going on, comprehend what was going on. And the seeds that they're planting at this event, I'm sure aren't going to translate well for the TV tapings in Tampa. And likewise, I don't think, we're going to have the anniversary show happen here on the 16th before the show in Tampa it makes its way to TV. And so there's this delay. and it's hard as fans to kind of keep up with it. So the first thing I would change is that. And then the second thing I think I would change is maybe bringing back like live pay-per-view events, signature live events, premium live events. I don't know exactly what to call it. I don't know exactly how to air it, but having one place for TV and one place for the live events, like the premium live events that are televised, I think would do them a lot of good. So, the first Tuesday every month, we're going to be in Tampa for the television tapings, and then live events that would be like a Roku special or a YouTube special or something like that, quarterly or every 3 months or whatever, but something that these TV tapings build up to that would make the matches on TV important and the live event like super important. I don't know. They need to make Rhino a producer at the NWA. I mean, I don't know exactly what Rhino does at this point. Like, I know he promotes the IWR, and I think he did a few matches for AEW. I don't know what value Rhino brings as a producer. I don't know him well enough to tell you about that. Couch Potato Wrestling, what's going on, my friend? David Valentine pointing out that Buff Bagwell recently had some life-changing surgery. It's very unfortunate, and it's sad. It's sad. But that's going to do it, guys. We're wrapping it up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Tuesday. Again, appreciate you, chat. Appreciate you hanging out. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday right here on YouTube. Also Mondays, the other Alliance guys are here as well. And we're trying to bring all of this over to TikTok. We're still working out the bugs, but hopefully on this Thursday, you'll see us also on TikTok as well, right here on YouTube and on Twitch. Sorry, I've seen some of the messages in the chat. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you as well. We're going to call it a day. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And we'll see you guys at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday, 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.